Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining me today. Today, Steve, with AmaWaterways and I are going to talk all about the Seven Rivers journeys that Ama is starting to sail in 2023. These are amazing opportunities to see all the rivers of Europe in one amazing adventure. So you do 7 rivers, and it is 14 countries. And you're on sailing for 46 days with lots of opportunities to see amazing countries. So Steve, welcome. Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about our wonderful 7-river journey for fall of 2023. So let's dive right in and take a look at it. So this 7-river journey will take you through the major waterways and rivers of Europe. And it's 46 nights, 14 countries, 7 rivers, one amazing, epic, unique journey. And just quickly to show on a map, not a map to scale necessarily, but we'll start off on the Seine River, and then we'll do all the major waterways of Central Europe, the Main, the Rhine, the Moselle, the Danube, upper and lower. Just a great opportunity to see all of these wonderful countries and these medieval port towns and cities. Just a great opportunity that we thought of earlier last year.
It's amazing to be able to go through all those countries and kind of get the feel all at one time from the different aspects from the different places.
Exactly. Now, you and I, Darby, have river cruise before, but we've never done 7 weeks of river cruise.
Right.
This is a very unique opportunity. We don't do it often. We've offered it a couple of other times in 2023, and it's a very unique opportunity, not for everybody. But you've got 14 countries, and here you can see it's France, the Netherlands, Belgium, Germany, Luxembourg, beautiful little country, Switzerland, Austria, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Croatia, Serbia, Bulgaria, and Romania. Those are on the lower Danube, okay, the former Soviet satellite countries. 46 nights, 3 different ships, because remember now, these are not all contiguous rivers. So we do have to do transfers. We take care of all of that for the guests. We take all of their luggage, we do their luggage, we take care of laundry, we do all of these things, we take care of transfers. So 3 different ships, the Ama Lira, the Ama Certo, and the Ama Verde. The Ama Verde was just rebuilt for 2021. Beautiful rebuild, beautiful ship. They're all beautiful ships. And then, of course, if you want to get in a little early, you can start with a pre-cruise in Paris. Who doesn't want to spend a couple of nights in Paris? Mm-hmm. And on the post, because where it ends down in the southern, the lower part of the Danube, you can do 4 nights in Transylvania, in Romania. And
yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, really cool stuff. I mean, some really historic stuff. And there's also a visit to Vlad Dracula's castle on that particular post day. Or they can do a post 3 nights in Istanbul, Turkey. Okay, so very interesting, very heady stuff. What's included, what you have to remember here is that with AmaWaterways, the cruise manager is with you throughout, whether you're doing pre or post. And in this case, we will choose one cruise manager from the pool of our best cruise managers to do all 7 rivers with you. Okay, so that's one person is assigned to people for 46 days, and that's you're going to be best friends with whoever this person is by the end of the journey. Gratuities are comped. Transfers between the ships, as I mentioned, are included. Excursions are all included in the costing and the pricing. And there are exclusive experiences along this journey, along these 7 rivers that we don't do on our normal sailing. So some really surprise excursions rather, and fine dining is included, laundry is included, luggage service, and some other special surprises for people as we go along.
And Steve, I do have one question. So with the 3 ships and the 46 days, is it only these people on these sailings? So are other guests joining these ships along the rivers or not?
The goal is to fill the ship or the ships with just these guests.
Okay,
The challenge is, you remember now, you have to match up. If you're doing a B category, you got to do a B, a B, a B. So we want same
right.
staterooms all the way through. But it is, we'll see at the end of the day if we're, 98% sold and somebody wants to join for, 2 or 3 rivers, we may allow that. But at this time, we haven't made that decision. We're really looking to fill it with everybody doing the same experience,
Right.
the whole 9 yards, as they say, right? So
Right, similar to like a world cruise where you do the whole
that's the
section.
concept. You got it, Darby. That's exactly what we got the idea
Great.
for ocean cruises. To
I'm
do
ready to go.
around the world. Yeah, me too. I don't think my company will let me work from the ship for 7 weeks, but we'll see. So we have some special visits that are unique to this particular edition of the Seine River Journey. The Elst Castle on day 18 is a beautiful castle. I think we have a slide of it somewhere in the presentation. Strasbourg, France. We've got the visit to the wine village there, which is a really neat surprise that we don't do on our normal visits to Strasbourg.
Mhm.
And in Vienna, we have an included visit to Schonbrunn Palace and have a classical concert, which the pricing is included. Really, that's a really special thing. Even if you're not a classical music buff, it's something I would suggest. Schonbrunn Palace is beautiful,
Right,
and the Mozart music is just something you have to experience when you're in Vienna. So
Mhm. Exactly.
something really special. And then ports, we have a Jewish history tour in Amsterdam. I mentioned that the Obernai Wine Village, Landstein, Koblenz. These are great cultural, smaller towns along the rivers, medieval towns. Bernkastel in Germany, there's a wonderful wine tasting there. They're known for some of their white wines. And Mainz, in Germany, the famous Russian painter who later in his career was doing a lot of stained glass for synagogues and churches. In St. Stephen's Church in Mainz, in the city of Mainz, we get a visit to the church and see the beautiful stained glasses from later in Chagall's career. They're just stunning. I don't care what denomination you are, they're beautiful. In Rudesheim, we have a wine tasting at Schloss Johannesburg, and that would be Riesling wine. That's what they're known for in Rudesheim. And then a visit to the Opera House or another Jewish heritage tour in Budapest, Hungary. So really unique things that you don't see either on our regular sailings for these itineraries or from other river cruise lines. So really good opportunity here. And then also, if people are enthusiasts of World War I, World War II buffs, yes, I am one of those people. I watch the History Channel all the time. We do have a visit along the Seine after the Seine River to the beaches of Normandy, which is a really wonderful experience. Amazing.
Very moving, right?
Yes, very moving. You can also visit the Battle of the Bulge in Brussels or Luxembourg, which again, not a lot of folks do this. I mean, this is really unique stuff. And some World War I battlefields in Luxembourg as well. And then biking enthusiasts have the opportunity. Our ships do carry touring bicycles. Not many of our competitors do that. And there are quite a few bike tours. Most of this, the rivers are the landscape of the rivers are flat. Great bicycle paths along the rivers. Some great biking along all of these rivers. And then for foodies, wine lovers, beer lovers, I mean, this is the whole idea for me, the concept of going to these places. Think of the Netherlands and Germany, some of the great beers, Belgian beers, the blonde beers and the pale ales. And then, of course, in other parts in France, obviously, some of the great wines. And even the lower Danube has some really, really nice wines to taste. So there's some great tasting experiences. The menu changes daily to reflect where we are, what country are we in, what region are we in. This is really why we take a river cruise.
You have the ice wines there too in Germany at that time of year. You'll be getting into some of the ice wines.
They do. So we tend to think of wines as only, say, France and California and maybe South Africa and Argentina, things like that, and Australia. But there are great wines from all of these regions in Europe. So have an open mind when you go and try all the different wines. So This is where we start. The first 6 days of the journey, we are in France. We are on the Seine River. We're doing wonderful things along the Seine. And you can see the itinerary quickly. I won't go through everything, but I mean, the highlights of this itinerary would be
Normandy, right?
the Normandy Beaches, would be on Flore, which is as the
Mhm.
Seine meets the ocean there in
Right.
the Roman region. So in Rouen is another is a classic city, small city with great architecture. This is a really interesting itinerary, even on its own, but then you combine it with some other things. Here's on Flore. Here is where the Seine meets the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
And the Norman region of Brittany, and France. And I love it. It's just a great fishing village to me. You see this great,
Yeah,
great.
it's a cool little town with that liquor. What's the liquor called? It's the apple.
I think you stumped me on this one.
Yeah, I have it, I have it in my thing. It's so strong though. I got some of it when
Stronger
we were
than
there.
apple
It's
cider?
amazing.
Is that what it is? It's stronger than an apple cider?
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay. But just this is a great visit.
it is.
Here are the Normandy beaches. We do a great job here. We have most of our guests come from the United States, but a small percentage come from Canada. So there is the option, if you're Canadian, to visit the Canadian beaches and then the Canadian cemeteries, and same for the US passengers as well. It's very, I don't care what your history is, your family history, it is very meaningful to go here and to visit and to visit the beaches. But the whole area, the whole Norman region is beautiful, and we're there for a couple of days.
Right, it is
Just a great
amazing.
opportunity. It's beautiful, just beautiful, the coastline. And then we have the bulk of the journey being days 6 through 33, the Dutch and Belgian waterways with the Rhine, Main, and Moselle rivers. I've done all of these personally, not all at once, of course, but these are some really great visits here. The Dutch waterways is in the northern part of the Netherlands and Belgium. Belgium is a beautiful country. And then you have the Moselle River, which is an offshoot of the Rhine. It's specifically in Germany. It doesn't cross through any other countries. Smaller river, much more intimate. We have the Rhine River, which is known for its castles. And then we have the Main. The Main River is what actually connects the Rhine and the Danube River. And there's some great stops along the Main as well.
Yeah, and in this section of the journey, you have so many, the bigger cities, and then you have the smaller cities, and then the smaller villages. So you really get immersed in, different types of, culture and, everything along the way. So you're seeing something different every single day, even on one river you are, but with all of these, it's almost like you would never see the same thing again.
Right, and you're exactly right with the cities and the smaller visits. You've got Amsterdam, you've got Brussels and Antwerp, and then you have Cologne and you have Amsterdam again. But in between, you have all these lovely little quaint medieval towns, population 1,000, maybe 500, 1,500 people. Rudesheim, Landstein, Cochem, Bernkastel, Dordrecht, where Kinderdijk is. I mean, these are great visits, and everything is different. So the Dutch and Belgian waterways are mostly canals that we can navigate. They're not, and then all the visits are to almost like miniature versions of Venice. Everything is canal. People
Flatter.
People walk, ride their bikes, and everything's canaled, right? So really interesting stuff to see. There's Brussels. This is beautiful architecture in Brussels. I love these. These almost look like miniatures to me. These photos of these buildings, from 300-400 years ago in the city square here in Brussels. Just perfect, picture perfect. This is a great part of the city to be walking around and visiting and learning about the culture and the history. Brussels has some very important history in European culture. A lot of things happened here over the centuries. So a really nice visit here. Antwerp, another beautiful city in Belgium. And fall is a great time to be seeing these places. Weather's still lovely to be walking around. You're starting to get the foliage like we do here in
Mhm.
New England in the Northeast. So it's a really nice time to be in these cities. And then, well, there you go, the Splendors of Autumn. You see there the photo to the right on the Moselle River. These are the colors. It's all, everything's golden and sort of a faded green. And these are your wine regions, and you're passing through, steeped banks with just vineyards rolling along. It's just it's magical. On the Rhine River, you can see those timbered houses built into the footbridges. That is authentic. You're going to walk right through there and
Right.
take photos and be looking at other pedestrians and so on. Just great stuff. And then the castles, of course, on the Rhine River. Many we will see from the ship. Many we will stop and go in and visit. So honestly, if you're a foodie and you like wine and you like beer and you like culture and you love the history of Europe, this is a phenomenal journey.
And it can be as relaxed or as busy as you want to. If you want to go, you can go and work off all those calories you eat at night, or, you can relax some during the day if you're, had enough of a tour and just want to, sit on the ship. Really, it's amazing.
Right. The guests every day have the option of 4 or 5 different excursions, or they can stay on the ship, like you said, or they can just grab a map and walk through town on their own.
Right.
They don't have to be on our escorted excursions, but they're there every day for them. They're included in the pricing. This here is the famous cathedral in Cologne. I've actually sat out here at one of these outdoor cafes with a beer or with a bottle of wine with colleagues or friends or family. Just a great city to visit. A lot of history here, a lot of World War II history here as well, but all kinds of opportunities for sightseeing and drinking beer and wine. So
Now, Steve, have you walked up to the top of the Cologne?
not recently.
No.
Many years ago, maybe 20 years ago, when I was a little more fit. But my last few visits, I waited for groups, Darby, down at the bottom, drinking a glass of wine,
Yeah.
and waving at people while they go up to the top.
Yeah,
I
I
many
did
years
go
ago.
up. It was amazing to go up.
Yeah,
So,
it's always a great visit.
Right.
It's a phenomenal cathedral. You can use it as a marking point. If you're walking around the city and you say to people, meet me, and you just point up to the steeple. It's the tallest thing in the city of Cologne, and you can always see where the top steeples are. It's just a great, but in the area also there are great, there's a beer garden behind the cathedral that we bring our guests to, and we drink some beer, and we have some local fare. So
there's some wonderful shopping in Cologne too. I found it all.
absolutely. So something for everybody.
Right.
This is a long view of the Moselle River, one of my favorite rivers. It's a less known river, so we have several itineraries normally that would include the Moselle along with the Rhine. And it's just a lovely area. It's an area where a lot of the German locals would have their summer homes, or where they would go camping in the summer and the fall. And you will see, as you sail along the Moselle, you will see a lot of these German families fishing, barbecuing. It's kind of neat. It's not a really wide river. You can wave to people. You can see people. I kind of like it. It's very engaging. And then also, go ahead.
Yeah, the campers up on the stilts,
Yeah.
as they are on the Rhine. Yeah, it was very interesting.
It's really
seeing
cool.
that.
I like it. I like seeing families out barbecuing and waving, and we wave back. There's also some nice visits. Many of the cities here, or the small cities here, Trier is one of them, actually have Roman ruins, or Roman Empire ruins, because this was actually part of the Roman Empire back in the day. So you will still see structures that are similar to the Colosseum, gated walls to cities, things like that are left over from the Roman Empire. Very interesting stuff, especially when you understand you're in Germany and you're seeing these things that look like they're from southern Italy. So
Right.
I like the Moselle. I think it's very interesting. Here's the Eltz Castle that we mentioned earlier. Beautiful, beautiful castle. Just a great visit here. I can't, I've seen so many castles in my tenure, in my career doing this kind of work. This is one of the most special castles you're going to see. Look at the background, look at the setting. It's kept well. It's such a special visit. and it's on this particular itinerary we're talking about, the Seven River Journey. And then as we get further in here, you have I mentioned Trier, Cochem. The Rhine Gorge is where you see all of the castles in about a 1 hour period. I think it's a total of about 43.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm not sure the exact number. It's amazing. Both sides of the river, both banks of the river. We get on the PA and do a really nice narration of the Rhine Gorge, usually after lunchtime as we're sailing. It's a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Luftwaffe is another nice small medieval town. Strasbourg is a beautiful city in the southeast part of France. One of my favorite stops along the Rhine. Brisach, Basel, Strasbourg again. Mainz, which is the one I'm guessing a lot of people have never been to Mainz or used the Rhine Main canal there that connects the Rhine and the Danube. But there's really nice stops there. And the city of Mainz is actually very interesting. It has a lot of culture, a lot of World War II history there. And again, it's where we go to St. Stephen's Cathedral and see Chagall's stained glass. They are gorgeous. They're just beautiful. They're breathtaking. Miltenberg, Wertheim, Kitzingen, Volkach. These are just great places for, the Germans are not really known for their red wines, but the white wines here are really good. The Rieslings, dry to sweeter, some other whites that they have. But for me, beer, I mean, you're in Germany, some of the best beer in the world, and you get a lot of these just outdoor cafes and outdoor booths where you can grab a Wiener Schnitzel and a beer and be on your way. Just some great opportunities here. And then, of course, the photo here shows you, I mentioned earlier, the bike paths along the river. You see our ship in the background. You take the bicycle out for the afternoon. And again, you can go on your own. You can be guided with us. Just a great opportunity. And like you said, burn off a few calories.
Right.
Dining and drinking opportunities that there are here. Luxembourg is just a great visit, a beautiful, beautiful visit. I love the architecture. I love the different pastel colors that all the different houses are. And you can just see in the background. I like the background because you can see the modern part of Luxembourg, and then in the foreground you see these are all medieval structures. You can see the walls. It was a walled city at one time. So just the contrast, the historical perspective, just a beautiful visit here. The Battle of the Bulge. Actually, I might have mentioned this to you recently, but I just watched the movie that was made in the 19th.
Oh yeah, I've had some clients go to visit that, and they thought
it's not, it doesn't come up that often, but every once in a while we'll offer it as an exclusive visit. If you're into military history and World War history, it's a fascinating visit. Something that I've not had a chance to do this year, and it's on my bucket list. Honestly, it's a really interesting visit. And then this is a great castle visit here, the Laennec Castle. We especially will visit this in the evening. It's not fully dark. It's usually getting dark when we do this visit, and it's lit up nicely. And it's a very old castle, maybe 10th or 11th century. So it's not, the structure is not fully, it's not whole. In other words, parts of the roof are missing and so on. So the moonlight comes in sort of as the dusk is going away. Just a wonderful visit here. It's just our group with some local guides telling us what we're visiting in each room of the castle. And I have to say, I have photos on my own personal photos of this visit. It was such a stunning visit. So great opportunity here. And of course, we think about castles when we're in Germany. Strasbourg. Have you been to Strasbourg?
Yes.
Yes. So it's a lovely mostly walking pedestrian city. A lot of canals here as well. Some little drawbridges that they still hand crank the drawbridge up, right? So really, again, I go back to the theme of being very medieval, but great wines here. Great cafes here, just a great visit, great shopping here too. I've been here at Christmas time. The Christmas markets here are fantastic, but being here in the fall is stunning. Strasbourg is one of my favorite places in France. Wurzburg, another medieval town, not a huge population. Just great for walking around, great for hiking. We do have escorted hikes every day as well. I didn't mention that earlier, so something to think about if you want to do something a little more active. You take a 2-mile hike, maybe up to the high point of the town, and then down through the center of town. Just a great way to see the town. Great beers, great sausage. I can remember buying off of a family-owned stand, and they had some fresh sausage, and having a sausage in one hand and a big pint of beer in the other hand in Wurzburg.
Right, it's like the food truck of Germany, right?
Yes, exactly. This is great. I'm just getting so excited talking about it. And then we hit the Danube. So we hit the final stretch. The final 2 weeks of the itinerary would be Upper Danube, 7 days, Lower Danube, 7 days. Everybody, I think, knows the Upper Danube, or has at least heard about references to the Upper Danube. It looks like this. You would start off in Wielsdorf in Germany, and then to Linz in Austria. Český Krumlov is in the Czech Republic. Wiesenkirchen, Vienna, Bratislava in Slovakia, Budapest in Hungary, and then you're moving down to Serbia and Romania, and I'm missing one of them: Serbia, Romania, and
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria. Thank you very much. So part of the old Soviet Union on the lower Danube, and it's just so different because you're starting off in Germany and Austria, and these are two of the wealthiest countries in the EU. And then you go to Slovakia and Hungary, and you go to some of these other countries. And so it changes, the culture changes, the history changes. What you see every day changes. The lower Danube is really more about its natural wonders, and the ports are not built up like they are here. You see, this is a photo of the Parliament building from a distance in Budapest. You don't see much of that as you go further south. It's kind of like the road less traveled type of thing.
Right.
Let's look at this. This is Wilshofen. This is we have a beer tent at our port, at our dock where we dock. We have a beer tent, and all the guests are welcomed here with beer or wine or soft drinks if they like, but we bring in some local entertainment, and we have the Oompa band, and you have the local beer queen from the town comes in and greets everybody. It's just a fun time. It's a lot of fun. And in Vienna, this is what we mentioned earlier, the visit to Schonbrunn Palace, which is included in the classical concert, which plays Mozart and Strauss. And it's a beautiful concert. The music is lovely. You don't have to be a classical music aficionado. I think most people will recognize, because these are more popular pieces of music, you'll recognize this music, and it's wonderful. It's an excellent visit here. Bratislava in Slovakia. So I like Bratislava. My wife, I traveled with my wife there, and she wasn't as, it's not as picturesque or as pretty as Vienna or the other places in Germany, let's say, or France, but it has a different history. It was part of the Soviet Union for 30 years, 35 years. But I love the hike. This is what I would recommend on this particular excursion: is you take a hike up to Bratislava Castle, what you're looking at there. And I love the walls that encompass these buildings, because it shows you that 500, 600, 700 years ago, people came to sack the city and they needed to have protection, right? So along the rivers, you built your fortress or your castle or your monastery, whatever was your protection area, and then you built moats around it and walls around it. And they're still standing. It's amazing to me. So this is a great visit here in Bratislava.
The view from there must be beautiful.
That's a great point, Darby, because when you do the hike, if you take the time to do the hikes, the view down to our ship, down to the river,
River.
down to, you look down on the town of the city and you get spectacular photographs. That's a
Mhm.
great point. So great.
I remember that in Les Andelys in France, that, climbing up, doing the hike up to the old
That's that's a
castle there.
really old castle there. That's a
Yes.
really old, like maybe 10th century or something like that.
Yes.
That's a great
Yeah, there
castle.
wasn't much left to it, but
No, exactly. It's kind of rounded out now. So
right.
here's Budapest. Mentioned this, the Parliament buildings, Buda and Pest, two cities actually. We visit both sides. It's predominantly a walking city. Most of these visits are predominantly in the areas of the towns or cities that are pedestrian, bikes and pedestrian. We don't deal with traffic. We don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. We're just walking around these cities and having great visits. Those again are the Parliament buildings that we can see in the background, lit up at night, and we have an opportunity to sail back and forth in front of the Parliament buildings. It's called the Illuminations Cruise. Great photo opportunity here. But Budapest is a great city, very interesting, a lot of culture here, a couple of castle visits if you like. And I love great Danish, great coffee shops, great exploring down the little alleyways and finding great shopping opportunities. Great for me, pastry opportunities.
Yeah.
Budapest is a really cool city. And these are the iron gates of Gorga in
Is this
Serbia.
where you pass from the upper to the lower?
Yes. Okay. And that carving goes back about 1,000 years, and that's a carving of their king at the time, Deceballos. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but that is a phenomenal feature here. And this is, I mentioned earlier. So what you see a lot along here is more natural rock figures and rock carvings and cliffs, beautiful cliffs. So very different. You look at the banks of the river, not like what we've seen on the upper Danube, where you can get up and walk around. It's very natural. It's not built up. And this is part of the beauty of it. And not a lot of people get to do the lower Danube, but it's getting more popular each season. So great opportunity here. And we go through some other countries. We visit a lot of fortresses. Along this stretch of the Danube, there were a lot of fierce battles fought over the centuries. So there's a lot of remnants of fortresses and castles with very interesting stories around them. And you also had most of the battles back in those days had to do with the various religions from the region, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, things like that. So a lot of really interesting culture and history there. We will end up in Bucharest in Romania, and we disembark in Giurgiu in Romania. Really interesting, old, again, medieval city. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's what this tour is. And I think it's 7 weeks and a couple of days if you add some pre and post. It's not as expensive as people would think. It's not as expensive as, say, an ocean around the world ocean cruise.
Right, world cruise. Right.
And we have different classifications of the staterooms. So you can start off with a standard stateroom where you can go up to a full suite. So there's pricing for everybody, but food for thought. It's a wonderful itinerary. It's one of our best sellers for us. The ones that we did earlier for 2023. There's a spring edition, there's a summer edition. They're almost sold out. The fall edition still has plenty of space. So again, for your clients,
it's a great way to explore so much of Europe that you see just so many different things. And the biggest thing is everything's taken care of for you. Right. You don't have to unpack more than twice. You have to pack and unpack. They move everything for you. Your meals are there for you. Your beverages are there for you. Your laundry's all set. It's just, so if you have the time and
right. Each day is yours to plan what you want to do. It's so very much to do. And some people will take a bike and go out for the day, and some people will do every excursion we offer. But like you said, some people will do excursions one day and hang out on the sun deck another day, or go off into town on their own. People do their own research. They work with their travel advisor like you, and they figure out what else can I see in these towns and cities? And is there something else, some hidden gem? And that's where you comes in. You come in and help them find something if they have a particular interest, and then help them find things along their own interests. So there's something here for everybody. It is just, I mean, honestly, I wish I had the time to do this, and I don't think my company would let me work, have a working vacation here. So I am a little jealous of people that get to do this. So, and I think we've come to the end. Yes. So we took you through most of Europe,
Right.
in about 25 minutes. But just food for thought, a little teaser, and I hope that your clients enjoy the presentation.
Yes. Thank you very much, Steve. It was amazing. It'll be an amazing journey for clients that want to, take it on, because you can just, just see so much, and, have this, the length of time is great. You can see so many different things. So it's not like you won't be getting bored even being away for that long. So, because there's so many different opportunities to see. But thank you very much for joining me
Thank you for
today
having me,
and
Darby. I always
sharing
enjoy-
this amazing, trip with me and my clients.
You got it. Anytime.
All right. Have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.